All right, guys, welcome back. Another race in the books here, and Nico Rosberg obviously taking the win in China earlier today, and doing it in some style, actually. But, well, so far what we've been doing in this series is basically taking a back marker and see how far up the field we can take that during a 50% race. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently here today because obviously Lewis Hamilton had a rough weekend here, having to start dead last on the grid, and we're going to be trying to see if we can't pull one better than he did. So what we're going to be doing is jump into the car of Lewis Hamilton, skip all the qualifying, all the practice, just setting up the car here, and I'm doing that basically by heart, so to speak, because I can't remember what I did the last time I was here. I haven't driven this track in F1 2014 in over a year, so yeah, basically whatever I come up with here is going to be blind luck. But obviously, you know, having the Mercedes engine and having the Mercedes car is going to give us an advantage here, and it's going to be interesting to see just how far up the field we can take this car when starting in 22nd on the grid. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, 22nd on the grid, starting right behind Felipe Nasr. Marcus Ericsson is right ahead of him, so we got both the Saubers right ahead of us here. And Kimi Räikkönen taking pole here today. Nico Rosberg, our teammate, taking second, and Sebastian Vettel, a second Ferrari, starting third on the grid. But boy, do we have our work cut out for us here. All right, guys, there you go. Kimi Räikkönen on pole. I'm not sure whether or not there was a bug in there somewhere, or whether or not Nico Rosberg got a penalty, because I remember seeing him as getting second place here, but as far as I could tell, we had Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen on the front row. So, yeah, I'm not sure how that figures. Anyway, slightly overcast here. We're not expecting to see any rain. 0% chance of rain here in the weather forecast. Not the greatest start, but it doesn't really matter much. This is going to be a question of staying clear of trouble in the first couple of turns here. Hopefully, see if we can't pass a couple of cars here early, making up a couple of positions. Obviously, that's a lot easier, but we are running a realistic damage mod here, so we do not want to get all too aggressive here and put ourselves into trouble. And making up one position, two positions here, getting a nice exit. Man, this car has some traction that the back markers just cannot match here, the ones I've driven so far in this mod. And coming up into turn 3 here, just diving down the inside a couple of cars here, right on the exhaust of a Haas. Not sure who that was, but we are up into P17, right behind. Now we're way up into P11 here, right behind Gutierrez and Grosjean right behind us there. So wedged in between the two Haas cars at the moment here. And this is through Sector 2. Routinely, this is one of the spots where I am weak on this particular track, and it's going to be interesting to see whether or not that carries over, considering we're in their Mercedes car here. I do not usually drive this car. This is probably the second or third time I've ever driven it in this particular game here. So it's going to be a new experience for me, and hopefully something I can take advantage on. As you can see, we're on the option tire here for the first stint. We are on a two-stop strategy. We're going to be stopping for a set of primes for the middle stint, and we're going to be finishing with a light car on a set of options, hopefully for the final sprint there. And just taking it easy here into the hairpin, almost being brake checked by Gutierrez. Like I said, we're running that realistic damage mod here. We do not want to tangle with anybody if we can help it here. And, oh, nice bug there with the steering wheel with this F1 2016 chassis. I'm not really sure what chassis we're using for this one. It's probably the Red Bull chassis for 2014 or something like that. But anyway, lap 1 status here. We are way up into P11 here, trying to chase down Esteban Gutierrez at the moment. Coming through this turn 1, this snail-like turn here, we are all over Gutierrez from behind here. We see if we can't get the better exit here, going down the inside of him, but unable to make that move stick as he's kind of closing us to the outside here. That's kind of aggressive, actually. We're going to go for the switch over here, going down the inside, no problem whatsoever, and have the superior traction coming out of the turn here. We are up into P10, just barely making that stick, trying to chase down Perez, I believe it is. Skipping right ahead to lap 3, DRS is now enabled here. Perez all over Ricciardo from behind here. Apparently that Mercedes engine. And oh man, and I'm not sure what happened there. Well, I'm pretty sure what happened. We just touched Perez coming through turn 1 here and lost a bit of the end plate here. And not even making the move stick here, but we just feathered that guy. I didn't think that was too bad a contact, but anyway, that's what happened with this realistic damage mod here. But coming into turn 3 or turn 4, whatever it is, making the move down the inside of Perez here, we are up into P9 now, trying to chase down the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo here. And that's going to be interesting to see how that Red Bull is going to fare on this track up against the Mercedes engine on the long straights there. But that is going to cost us, you know. We might not be suffering in performance after losing that end plate there, but obviously that's going to add about 3 seconds to our first pit stop. So that's basically what we're looking at right now, a 3-second penalty here. Jumping right ahead to lap 4 here, still right on the exhaust of Ricciardo coming out of turn 1 here. We're going to be making the move down the inside here, right up on the bumper of Carlos Sainz Jr., and we make that move stick as we are up into P8 here. So very nice indeed so far, but the question is, how far ahead are the front runners? Nico Rosberg, the 2 Ferraris, what's going on with the top 3, and how much of a gap are they opening up on us while we're tangling with these guys? Coming down the back straight here, cranking the engine into rich mode. Carlos Sainz has no answer for this Mercedes engine, and with DRS, we're making easy pickings of this guy here, heading into the hairpin, making the move stick, and we already have a nice gap there. So up into P7 on lap 4 out of 28, not too bad at all. Trying to chase down Kimi Räikkönen, who was on pole and is now way down into P6. So this guy must have had some sort of accident, or he just had a really, really bad start, but that is surprising. At any rate, that is our fastest lap of the race so far. We got Kimi Räikkönen about 4.5 seconds up the road. Carlos Sainz almost out of DRS range already. Jumping right ahead to lap 8 here, coming in for our first pit stop. Like I said, we're going to be switching to a set of primes for the middle stint. We got Felipe Massa right ahead of us here, and Kimi Räikkönen still out on track, has not made a pit stop yet. I'm starting to wonder whether or not the reason this guy was so slow is the fact that he started on the primes, because we were closing the gap on him by over half a second per lap. And even though we're in a Mercedes, that's a little bit steep unless he's having some sort of problem here. Anyway, rejoining the track here right behind Palmer in P12, but I would expect a lot of these guys have not been in to make a pit stop yet. Coming out of turn 12 here, trying to chase down Palmer, still coming out on the back straight here. We have the engine power, we have the OP slipstream, we have DRS. This guy does not stand a chance here as we are up into P10, now trying to chase down Haryanto. And it's going to be interesting to see here as we pass the pits, because I would expect a lot of cars are coming in to make their first stop on this very lap. And as you can see, Haryanto is one of them. And like I was talking about, there certainly are cars in the pits here. And we are currently up into P10, P7, I believe it is. Yeah, P7, trying to chase down Kimi Räikkönen still. So apparently, and I can see Kimi right ahead of us there. So obviously, he did not start out on the primes. He started on the option tires, and he has now been in to make his first stop, just like basically everyone. And as Rosberg puts in the fastest lap of the race so far, we are still trying to chase down Kimi Räikkönen, and we are slowly but surely closing the gap. He's only about 2.5 seconds up the road right now. Skipping right ahead to lap 12 here, just outside DRS range on Kimi Räikkönen. As you can see, he's trying to catch another car in the process here. I would expect that to be maybe one of the Red Bulls, and he appears to be making the move here into the hairpin, and quite rightly so. That is the Red Bull of Daniil Kvyat here. So obviously Kimi Räikkönen advancing a spot here up into P5 as we are trying to chase down Daniil Kvyat at this point here. Rosberg putting in yet another fastest lap here. One more time here, coming out of turn 12, that superior Mercedes traction. This is just unbelievable. I have never driven a car like this before. Coming out on the back straight, we're going to have DRS. The question is, are we going to be too far back to catch Kvyat here, heading into the hairpin? I do not dare make the move down the inside. We might have made it stick here, but like I said a million times over already, we're running a realistic damage mod here, and I do not want to risk it. We're going to have plenty of chances to pass this guy, and an added bonus here is that we are not losing sight of Kimi Räikkönen in the process here. So it's not like he's holding his back. As a matter of fact, we're keeping pace with this guy nicely here, heading into turn 1, running a little wide here. Turn 1 is usually a pretty good spot for us here, and catching up to Kvyat easily here. If we can get a better exit here out of the turn, get on the throttle as early as possible, just staying right on his gearbox there and make the move perhaps here into turn 3, going down the inside here, rapidly shifting down to second gear, running a little wide here, but making the move stick, I think. Yes, we do, and we are up into P6 again, trying to chase down Kimi Räikkönen. Lap 16 now within DRS range of Kimi Räikkönen, though not close enough to make a move here coming down the main straight. Heading into turn 1, closing the gap dramatically here. Again, that downforce, that mechanical grip of the Mercedes is just unbelievable. And he has nowhere to run. It's just going to be a question of time here unless we go and do something stupid. Heading into turn 3, we're not going to be in a position to make the pass here, but going purple. And oh, and again, it just... there was no contact there, but it appears as though Räikkönen just ran a little wide on the exit, and we took full advantage of that, going down the inside as we are now up into P5, trying to chase down Felipe Massa, who is about, well, I would expect about a second and a half ahead of us here. So it doesn't appear as though we're done making up ground just yet. And lap 20 coming in for our second and hopefully final stop right ahead of Räikkönen here. It's going to be a question of who's the fastest. We are, so we're going to be coming right out ahead of Kimi. And the question is, where are we going to be once we got a couple of cars passing us here? We got Bottas passing us, so we're going to be rejoining the track in P5, P6. Massa coming out right ahead of us there. And like I said, I would expect this guy to be out on the primes. He is indeed. You can see the white wall on the tires there. So we should be the faster car here on the final stint. Hopefully that's going to hold up. And again, that amazing Mercedes traction coming out of turn 12 here. Superior speed, going down the inside, opening the DRS. Massa has no reply for that as we make an easy pass up into P5, now trying to chase down Valtteri Bottas. Skipping right ahead to lap 21 here, we are opening up a bit of a gap down on Kimi Räikkönen. He has passed Felipe Massa as well as we put in the fastest lap of the race here, 1:39.546, and we have a gap of about 5 seconds up to Valtteri Bottas with 6 laps remaining here. And it's going to be cutting it close, but if we're going to be catching this guy, we got to be driving like bats out of hell here for the final 6 laps. Jumping to lap 24, that Mercedes is just a beautiful drive. In a span of 2 laps, we have closed the gap completely on Valtteri Bottas, right on his gearbox here, heading into the hairpin. We're not going to be in a position to make a move right here. We're just going to be staying close, hopefully making a move as we come down the main straight. We're going to have DRS, and right now it appears as though Bottas, well, he's almost driving as though he's having engine trouble here. I'm not sure that is the case. He might be trying to save fuel, I'm not sure. Opening the DRS here, moving down the inside. No fight back from Bottas. Usually you'll see the AI try and take away the inside line here. There's none of that, and I expect that Valtteri knows that he has no chance in this race here. So, yeah, like I said, he might be trying to save fuel. That is probably the most likely scenario here as we are up into P3. 3 laps remaining of the race here, trying to chase down the P2 car of Sebastian Vettel. And I doubt that's going to work out for us. Coming up on the final turn of the race here, this is as close as we're going to be getting to Sebastian Vettel. Nico Rosberg taking the win here today, just like he did in real life. Sebastian Vettel finishing second, and we round off the podium here in third. And I gotta say, I'm kind of happy with this one, considering it's been a very long time since I've driven this particular track in F1 2014. Haven't driven it before in a Mercedes, and I'm kind of sorry that I haven't tried it before now, because what a dream of a car to drive. Amazing. So there you have it, guys. Nico Rosberg taking the win, Sebastian Vettel taking second. We finish off the podium there in third, Kimi Räikkönen in fourth, and Felipe Massa in fifth. And let's see, all right, Daniil Kvyat, well, he got passed by Massa as well, so he lost a couple of positions there near the end. He might have been trying to save fuel. And let's have a look at the DNFs there. Okay, not too many DNFs. So Pascal Wehrlein and Carlos Sainz. So we got 20 cars finishing the race. That's not too bad at all. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this one. I expect to be back once we reach the next race on the calendar here. Had a lot of fun here today. Hope you did too. Bye-bye.